What's going on, everybody? So I was just remembering this story, so I figured why not share it with all of you. So if I could prevent this from happening to any of you, I'm totally down for that. So anyway, I was a junior cloud engineer and I was just assigned my first task where I was actually going to own the solution end to end. Up until then, I was used to working with other engineers and working on projects that were led by them. Obviously, they had more experience and more knowledge than me, so I would just work on pieces of their projects. But I didn't have to make any decisions necessarily on architecture or which service to use or anything like that. So I'm assigned my first task, and I'm excited, of course. And since I was new, I was given a little bit more time to actually research stuff. So I remember sitting down with a list of services that I wanted to try out. And I log into my Azure portal to my DevTest subscription, and I didn't set up budget or billing alerts on the subscription. Beginner's mistake. Honestly, this whole thing was preventable if I actually had done that, but I didn't. So anyway, I remember playing around with Azure Service Bus, which if you're not familiar, it's a messaging service in Azure, and it's quite expensive. At least it was back then. But anyway, yeah, I played around with it for like an hour or two, and then I, logged off, and a couple of days go by, maybe a week, I can't remember exactly the timeline, and I get an email from my boss. And it's something like, hey, there's this charge on our invoice that I don't recognize. Can you log into cost management and take a look, get more details? And I'm like, sure, I didn't think much of it. I really didn't think it was going to be my fault, really. So anyway, I realized that that charge is associated with my DevTest subscription. So I get more details, and I realized that it's that resource, that Azure Service Bus resource that I never erased. Typically, I'm careful, even from the beginning. I've always been careful with removing resources when I don't use them. Nowadays, every cloud tutorial that you look at, there's always a disclaimer there that tells you, hey, at the bottom, hey, remove this resource when you're done. I just didn't. So I emailed my boss right away. Hey, I'm so sorry, take full responsibility. Feel free to deduct the charge from my salary or whatever. And then, send the email. And then from the time I get a response, it was probably a couple minutes, but it felt like an eternity to me. And I was thinking man, I'm gonna get fired. How could I do this? Such a silly mistake. I just got promoted, all that kind of stuff. So my boss pretty much was like, hey, don't worry about it. Just go implement billing alerts and budgets in your subscription. And, beginner's mistake. That's pretty much it. So shout out to that boss for turning this mistake into a learning experience. Thumbs up for that. But yeah, again, super silly mistake, easy to prevent. And if you are all getting started with projects or learning cloud, I highly recommend to take just some time to look into cost management in whatever cloud platform that you're using, right? So yeah. Anyway, don't forget we have the AZ900 live stream. Come hang out, learn about Azure, study with us. I'll make sure to leave that link in the description. Also, I'm doing an Azure study hour every Friday for the next month on Twitter, on the ACloud Guru Twitter, so you can come and ask me anything related to Azure. I will have time to sit down and answer all of your questions. So that's going to be a fantastic time. I can't wait to read all those tweets. And that's pretty much it. If you enjoy these kind of short stories about experiences that I've had in my cloud career, let me know. I'd love to share more. And yeah, if you want to talk cloud, hit me up on Twitter at MadeByGPS. I will see you in the next video.